Once upon a time, in a quiet seaside town, there lived a 15-year-old boy named Jack. His family owned a small tea stall near the harbor. His father served sailors and fishermen, while his mother baked buns and made tea for the locals. Jack loved to paint. Ever since he was little, he saw colors in everything: the ocean waves, the glowing sunsets, even the cracked walls of his tiny home. But there was one problem. They were poor. His parents couldn't afford colors or brushes. Jack used old newspapers and bits of charcoal from the tea stove to draw his dreams. His biggest dream was to become an artist and win a scholarship to the city art school. If he got in, he could study art properly, help his parents, and bring beauty to the world through his paintings. But every time he entered a local contest, he lost. The judges said his drawings were too simple. His friends said, "Jack, maybe painting isn't for you. You're wasting time." Still, Jack painted every evening under a dim streetlight near the harbor. One evening, thunder rolled across the sky and rain began to pour. Jack ran to the pier to protect his sketchbook from getting wet. But the wind was too strong. His pages flew into the dark sea. His only collection of art, gone. He sat under the tin roof of the stall, his heart breaking. For the first time in his life, he felt defeated. Tears mixed with the rain on his face as he whispered, "Maybe they were right. Maybe dreams like mine don't belong to people like us." Just then, an old sailor with a gray beard came for a cup of tea. He noticed Jack crying and asked softly, "Why so many tears for a few lost papers, son?" Jack replied, "Those weren't just papers. They were my dream. I try so hard to be an artist, but I always fail." The sailor smiled and said, "Have you ever seen how a pearl is made?" Jack shook his head. The sailor said, "When a tiny grain of sand enters an oyster, it hurts, but the oyster doesn't throw it away. Instead, it wraps it layer after layer until the pain becomes a pearl. It takes years, but the result is something beautiful." He looked at Jack kindly and added, "Your failures are your grains of sand, Jack. Don't throw them away. Wrap them with effort, patience, and time. One day, they'll shine." Those words lit a fire inside Jack. The next morning, he started painting again, this time with purpose. He collected bits of colored glass, dry leaves, shells, and charcoal. He made his own colors by crushing flowers and mixing them with tea water. His art became unique, raw, alive, and full of soul. He practiced every single day, even when people laughed at his strange paintings. Months passed, and finally came the annual Coastal Art Fair, his last chance to win a scholarship. The art hall was full of expensive paintings, oil canvases, polished frames, and students from big city schools. Jack stood quietly in a corner with his humble collage, a painting made entirely from sea sand, shells, and flower petals. It showed a young boy reaching for the sun, titled Hope. People whispered, "What is this? It looks like a child's craft." But when the judges came, they stopped and looked closer. Jack's work had something no other painting had: emotion. Hours later, when the results were announced, Jack couldn't believe his ears. He had won. His hands shook as he received the gold medal and scholarship letter. Tears rolled down his cheeks. His father stood in the crowd, clapping proudly. That night, under the same dim streetlight where he once cried, Jack smiled, not because he won, but because he never gave up. Years passed. Jack became one of the most loved artists in the country. His paintings hung in galleries and museums, but every year he returned to his old seaside town. One afternoon, he visited the harbor and found the same old sailor sitting with his fishing rod. Jack handed him a small box. Inside was a beautiful painting of a pearl glowing inside an oyster. Jack said, smiling, "Your words changed my life. You taught me to turn pain into art." The sailor smiled and said softly, "I only gave you a thought, Jack. You gave it a life." Success, like art, takes time. Just because others don't see your worth today doesn't mean you aren't growing. Like the oyster, keep turning your pain into something beautiful. Never let failure make you quit, because sometimes the darkest nights create the brightest mornings. So whatever your dream is, keep working, keep believing, and never stop creating. Your time will come, just like Jack's did.